Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. In the next few weeks, extending to some months, the report from Kalonzo Musyoka and Kimani Ichung'wah is going to form the basis of discussions and undertones in the Kenyan political world. After spending more than a month, Kalonzo Musyoka and Kimani Ichung'wah released their report, and Kenyans are divided on the report that they have given us. For those who watched my earlier video, and of course the video is trending, or the video of Kalonzo and that clip, Kalonzo and Kimani Ichung'wah, telling us what they have agreed upon. I want us to have a summary because Azimio is going to be divided on this. I want to read from Honorable Isaac Mwaura, the government spokesperson. He was saying that this is the update of the bipartisan talks. He's saying that Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah and Kalonzo Musyoka-led National Dialogue Committee has released their final report recommending this. And I'm interested in just two aspects here. One is the cost of living and the other one is the electoral justice. So I want us to be very fast. Number one, evaluation of 2022 general election process. That is Isaac Mwaura updating. Number two, the IEBC, I think some of these are now the undertakings about evaluation of 2022 general election. So he's saying that the IEBC reconstitution selection panel be expanded from 7 to 9 members. When they talked there, they decided to expand the members. Presidential election petition to be heard and determined within 21 days from 14 days. I remember Raila had been saying, you remember that was in 2017, I think, and 2022, they were time barred. There were some of the submissions that they brought to the court and they were told they were time barred. So I think they raised some of these questions and decided to extend the time for hearing the presidential petitions. They're also saying that legal reforms passed less than 18 months before the general election to take effect in the next electoral cycle. So there they are again, that if at all they will have implementations of some legal reforms less than 18 months to election, then the reforms will not be applicable to that election. It will be pushed forward. And they're also saying there that on the cost of living, I think this is another place I'm interested. But before we go to the cost of living, are you telling me that evaluation of the 2022 electoral reforms was just calling Cherera and Irene Masit and those who are involved, and of course Chebukati refused to come? That is all we have about evaluation of the 2022 general election. I thought we were to open that server because at some point even the IEBC had agreed that they could open that server. And I think we were to know, because all along it has been Raila's words against Ruto's words. Ruto says he won fair and square. Raila says my votes were stolen. So when you give us reforms, because basically what is happening here is that these are reforms that are going to be carried forward to 2027. So it is over that way. I think let us agree. For Azimio supporters, this is a report that was headed on Azimio side by Kalonzo Musyoka, who might also be a presidential candidate for Azimio in 2027. And there is nothing like scrutiny of the server. So let us always try to be honest. From this moment, if Raila will decide to sign and Ruto signs, then there shall never be any talk about opening that server. And I think it's even over. So let us be clear. There's nothing like opening that server. Number two, Ruto is the president officially. I know we have always seen Raila acknowledging that, but now it is official. or let us wait for the Azimio as a team to give us their feedback. So let's go back to the cost of living. Just very fast, they're telling us, because this is something that we had seen. They're saying that on the cost of living, all arms of government to cut travel expenditure by 50%. Salaries and Remuneration Commission to review daily subsistence allowance for state and public offices with an aim of reducing the cost by 30%. Road maintenance levy and fuel anti-adulteration levy to be reduced by 5 shillings and 3 respectively. All devolved functions to be transferred to county governments fully. Equitable shares to the county governments to be not less than 20% of the total collected revenue. I think that's all. But now, I wanted us to get that very clear, that on electoral reforms, nothing. Maybe some reforms that will help in 2027, when you're still dealing with thieves and conmen, and you want to give us reforms that this might work in 2027. I don't think so, but then that's my thought. Now, Mother Karua is saying that this is what Mother Karua said. Any purported agreement that does not immediately impact on cost of living, electoral justice, and respect for multi-party democracy is a fraud on the people and must be rejected, period. So Mother Karua is giving this coded message to Raila Amolo Odinga and to Kalonzo Musyoka, if at all they will sign it. Because I was checking, Raila has not tweeted. Kalonzo just gave the report because he was part of the team. But I want us to look at 3 things, ladies and gentlemen. What is the implication if Raila Amolo Odinga signs, if he goes ahead and signs this report, because it is going to be taken to Parliament? I want to tell you that there have been allegations about Raila Amolo Odinga as far as this deal was concerned, the bipartisan talks. Number one, if Raila signed this, then it is going to corroborate the allegations that he was paid in Mombasa when they met with William Samoei Ruto. And the Azimio bloggers, as they have already started here, there's the Kenya Kwanza bloggers will run with that narrative that Raila went to the streets and people were killed for self-aggrandizement. That is the narrative that they are going to run around with. You should be very careful. And I'm not saying, I know they know better, and when they sit as a Azimio family, we're just telling them that the narrative that is going to run there is that he was paid, and even the Azimio family will be like, okay, so why did you go to the streets to be killed? Number 2, the narrative that Raila wanted to get to government through the back door, the narrative that has been peddled by people like Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro, that he wanted a handshake, will go hand in hand. Because if it is signed, they will say that Raila has been given an office and so he has decided to accept this. It was a long con game. And as always, you will see some of the team like Rigathi Gachagua and Ndindi Nyoro, they will say it. Already, you saw people like Didbas Baraza. They are saying, when you see Raila making noise, kuna kitu anataka. Ukiona amenyamaza, kuna kitu ashapewa. And I'm saying this honestly because those who follow Raila's political ideology are not very happy when some of these myopic leaders talk about Raila Amolo Odinga. So if he signs, it will prove that he wanted to get to the office through the back door. Even though there are people are divided, there are people are saying let Raila rest, let him have an office and rest. He has done so much. But that narrative will run through. Number 3, Raila has always been accused as a poor negotiator. Miguna has said it. William Ruto says it. That when he wins and people sit down for negotiations, he doesn't know what to do. Let me give you an example. People are saying that in 2022, if he really meant that William Ruto, that Uhuru Kenyatta was to help him in the sense that the deep state was not going to rob him of his victory, they should have kicked away Chebukati, because that was the thorn in the flesh. Until the time when Jose Camargo was caught at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Raila was very quiet. They should have kicked away Wafula Chebukati the same way they had people like Cherera. They would have ensured that they had a new chairperson, not in their pocket, but a person who would be neutral, who would announce the results as they are. Because whichever way, we also don't want Raila to steal elections, because we believe he won. So it has been said that even in 2007, when his votes were rigged, he went round and round with Kibaki, telling Kibaki that because Kibaki had appointed some ministries, finance, I think constitution, security or something, and Raila told Kibaki, remove all of them, we want to start afresh. Kibaki refused. So after going round and round, Raila accepted. So this is going to prove what people have always been saying, that he's a poor negotiator. But to me, I will tell you that if there is one weakness that Raila Amolo has, statesmanship. I will still tell you. The ability to come back, sit down with those people who have offended him. I think as an old man now, he's got that heart, accommodative heart. That has forever been his mistake. It is also a strength, because it averts many deaths and blood that will be flowing. When people are being killed, he always sees the sense and say, okay, si lazima niwe rais. He is one person who cannot be a president at the expense of people's blood. It is a strength. It is also a weakness. We have leaders in this country who can even stare at people dying, all of them, until they remain in office, only the two of them are with their families, because they don't care whether people die. So that is going to be proven. And then someone will also say, then maybe Raila was defeated. Why could they even open the server? Because he told us they did ethical hacking, and we were sure that if this was opened, then we would do what? We would see the results. So some people will run with this narrative that alijua ameshindwa, that's why hakufanya nini? Hakufungwa. But then, what is the implication in 2027? Because it is proving that there is a permanent circle. Let us go to the elections. We are going to declare that you are defeated. After that, we go to court, some watertight cases there. So it's going to be a circle. The courts will say that you are defeated, just like the IBC has declared. Then people will go to the streets, battles with and running battles here with the police, killing people, maiming people. Then after that, people sit down. Chris Coons, as always, will always come from Delaware, US, and people sit down, and then we form. It will be reforms. So does it mean that even as we go for 2027, Azimio is only going to present a candidate, so that in 2028 we engage on electoral reforms? I don't know. But if Raila signs this, it is really going to have implications, very, very serious implications. And I know that the number one thing that is going to happen also is that Azimio is going to be divided, because Martha Karua from the onset had said that these talks are headed nowhere. And so she has given that coded message that she's not for it. If Raila and Kalonzo are for it, she's not for it. And I know you will be saying, oh, she doesn't have votes, but she is right, because it was a matter of time wasting. The only thing that I concur with is the fact that it was a ceasefire against people who are being killed, because I'm one person who believes that one life lost are just lives too many. If you talk to mothers who lost their children on the street, sons or daughters, or people have been left as widows, you will understand. That is the only thing that was good about these talks. Otherwise, everything was wash, if I may call, dishonesty. It was just a matter, because right now, you know that William Ruto is now the president. He has been entrenched there, even though Martha Karua says he's only a president by the constitution. So ladies and gentlemen, we wait and see, because Azimio is facing a very precarious moment. I don't know how they are going to maneuver. Fans are on their back. People are asking, why did you take us to the streets? I mean, why? Then people died. You told us we won. I mean, it's a complicated situation, but I know they are going to maneuver. But I've told them the narratives that are going to be perpetuated by the Kenya Kwanza team, let them not subject their supporters to ridicule and humiliation, because the moment they go there, it will be all over.